Hi, this is Alexia from TechCrunch, and I am here with Sean Parker, who is on Spotify board. You're also a co-founder of Airtime.
That's right.
You're also a partner at Founders Fund. What else?
Partnered Founders Fund. I'm on the board of Yammer and Genie
Facebook.
and my firm. Peter Thiel is on the board of Facebook. So.
And you just gave a talk about a number of things. You just subbed for Mark Pincus. Big shoes to fill, I guess.
Big shoes to fill. He was actually my boss when I was 15 years old. The first job I ever had was working for Mark Pincus at his first startup. Neither of us ever could have predicted, obviously, what happened.
Which startup?
It's called Freeloader. Most people have never heard of it. It was based in Washington, D.C.
Freeloader. And what did it do?
If you recall, there was a trend called push technology, which is now relegated to the graveyard of former internet trends, and they were sort of billing themselves as a push technology company.
Interesting. So speaking of never would have thought, I mean, never would have thought that you would have been under Pincus. Seeing the environment right now, there's a lot of hope around these music services, specifically because of Facebook Open Graph and things like the Ticker, Spotify and Rdio, which is the former iMean people. Did you think when Napster had failed, right after Napster, that you'd ever see such a resurgence in the industry and such, isn't Spotify valued at $1 billion or something right now?
Well, I've been waiting for this for a really long time. I spent 10 years waiting for a startup to emerge that had certain characteristics that could basically provide the same level of convenience and speed and user experience that Napster offered. And you looked at all the legitimate services like iTunes, and they didn't meet the bar that was set by Napster in 1999. Napster was so fast and so easy and so quick, and you could sample as much music as you wanted. But Napster, of course, lacked a legitimate monetization model to get artists paid. So Spotify was the first company that came along that actually combined a meaningful monetization model for getting record labels and artists paid with all the speed and convenience and ease of use and immediate gratification of Napster. It's the first time that ever happened. So the partnership with Facebook is only sort of the second iteration. It's really the second iteration of that process. The first iteration was just getting a product into the market, into the U.S. market, that enabled unlimited frictionless sharing of music between people. And now that we've integrated with Facebook, we've taken that one step farther.
Talking to a lot of people in the first wave of music companies, a lot of them are like, I'll never do music again. I know that Fanning was like, I'll never do music again. Are you crazy to get on a board of a company to do music again? Is it, or you really think this will be profitable?
Daniel X said that I was completely crazy, and he actually gave me an out. So there was a moment where Daniel took me aside right before I made the first investment and joined the board, where he said, Sean, you've dealt with these people before. You know how difficult this is going to be. Are you sure you want to do this? I'm giving you one last chance to pull out. And I said, Daniel, more so than any of your other investors, I understand what I'm getting myself into, and I'm going to do it anyway.
You're going to see it till success, right?
Yes.
Or you're going to try?
If I died prior to fixing this problem for the world and for myself, selfishly, I think I would become a ghost because I'd have unfinished business to attend to. So I felt like at some point in my life I had to play some part in trying to fix the mess that was created by Napster.
So there was these gossipy reports of you getting in a fight with Zuckerberg. You referred to him on stage. I haven't even looked into this. What did you fight about? I mean, if you guys did fight,
we weren't really fighting. It's just amazing how quickly a story like that can spread. I think it's good SEO to have Sean Parker and Mark Zuckerberg in a headline, and Facebook in a headline. I think that generates a lot of clicks. I was actually shocked by how a completely unreported, uncredible article written by a gossip column could go across the world as quickly as it did, and each step along the way the story got more and more distorted and less and less accurate, and then it started getting picked up by legitimate newspapers who completely dropped the idea of it being a rumor and started portraying it as fact. When one could easily discredit the entire thing on the basis of the fact that we were never at the place in question. You know, everyone around us has basically denied that this ever took place. We're constantly debating and arguing about things, and we do that. You know, but the idea that we almost came to blows and that we were fighting with each other, that's completely absurd.
It's almost like, it's amazing how mainstream in Hollywood the tech industry has become. Like, it's almost because you guys were in a movie, people still want to think that you're these crazy dramatic characters within the movie.
It could also be that Hollywood has become somewhat boring. It's like the sort of
Hollywood
story.
Anything,
Hollywood
right?
story has been written over and over and over. That story's an old story, and whereas there's now this new narrative that's emerging out of Silicon Valley, and people are making a lot more money here. They're transforming our lives in a more tangible, meaningful way. The movie industry has been basically the same industry since the 1950s.
Well, it's like who's going to play Turing? Leonardo DiCaprio is going to play Alan Turing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's
Which is
cool.
hilarious. And so it's like, what's next? You know, if coders are the only exciting people because they're the only people changing the world. Like, Hollywood stars don't really do anything, but we actually destroy and rebuild.
And apparently, and Hollywood stars no longer get into public brawls outside Hollywood nightclubs. They have PR people to tell them not to do that.
So your own startup, Airtime, what I've heard is that it's like a chat roulette except with identity built in.
Well, wait. Airtime I can't really talk about because we're not going to talk about what the product does or how it works yet, but eventually we will.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.